on. Sick. Hi, I'm Ashley. I feel weird being on camera like this, but I'm bored and I like beer, a lot. I'm also a little bit sick at the moment, meaning that we just had a major hurricane here and I have allergies that make me feel like I'm dying. It's great. Love it. But, yeah, so I really like beer. I love doing beer reviews. I've been told that my way of explaining beers is weird or funny or accurate, which I could appreciate. So I've decided I'm gonna make a YouTube channel about beer and talking about beer because honestly, I could talk about beer all day, every day, for the rest of my life. And I might as well try and do something with it, I guess. So I used to be a brewer. Actually, back it up. I used to be a bartender at a craft beer place. Really liked it. Learned a lot about beer, where it's from, different styles, what's in different styles, and I kind of reached the glass ceiling and I was like, oh, cool. As fun as this is, I want to make it. So I did. So I got an internship with a brewing company and I learned how to brew beer. And that was my job for 2.5-ish years, 3, something like that. And I ended up getting a lot of knowledge that I really want to share with people because I feel like beer is super versatile and if you drink, you could pretty much drink any kind of beer and have an appreciation for it. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with some local beers from my lovely state of Florida because that's where I'm from and that's the easiest beer for me to get. So yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but hopefully this is entertaining, and if it's not, I'm gonna keep doing it anyways because I feel like it. So yeah, let's get on with the first review I'm going to be doing of any beer ever on this channel. It's weird still, I can see myself talking to myself. I don't know. I know it's not really that weird, but it's weird for me, okay? I don't like seeing my face. Anywho, so what I'm going to be evaluating today, I guess, is Cigar City, one of my favorite Tampa brewing companies. Based out of Tampa, Florida. These guys were one of the first big Florida brewing companies to make it. They have their flagship IPA Highlight. It's been distributed across pretty much the entire U.S. as far as I know now. And they really solidified a craft beer name for the state of Florida, which is super cool. But this is appropriately named Florida Cracker. So Florida Cracker, if I could get it to focus. Florida Cracker is a Belgian wit beer, otherwise known as a white beer. Wit beer means, oh dear, I'm trying, forgive me. There we go. Yeah. So wit beer in German means white beer or wheat beer, which both are accurate. A Belgian wit beer is very similar, but this is a it's a Belgian style wit beer, basically. Anywho, so a Belgian wit beer is primarily brewed with what's called flaked wheat, and wheat kind of gives this beer almost like a sticky flavor, and I know that sounds weird, the mouthfeel is just a little bit more on the heavy side without it being super duper thick. So it's almost pillowy. Pillowy would be a good word. But wit beers classically, especially Belgian wit beers, are known for their classic coriander and orange peel flavors because, most Belgian wit beers have orange peel and coriander. So, yeah. it's a style thing. But traditionally, wit beers, and when they were first, being brewed before anybody had like a technical term for it, they had their base with wheat and different malts, and then to add flavor to cut down from like the sugariness of the wheats and the malts themselves because they're very sugar heavy. They would add dried fruits, or they would add spices. They'd add pepper, literally anything to just keep it from being so sickeningly and syrupy sweet. So that kind of carried on through the style, and now the most common spices and fruits used to flavor wit beers is orange, coriander, and white pepper. Which, lo and behold, this is brewed with coriander and orange peel. Doesn't say anything about white pepper, but you know, I'm sure that there are some breweries out there who do that, and I appreciate that. I do not have a proper wit glass for this beer. Beer gods forgive me, but I do have a heavy metal tulip glass because that's my aesthetic. And I got it for free from a friend of mine who really loves, or he knows that I love beer, so he was just like, hey, we have this special going on at my tap room. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I'm gonna just pour it, I guess, and I'll give you a real-time notice of all the different flavors and like the mouthfeel and carbonation levels, like all that stuff. That's super fun. Never mind the fact that it's not even 11 a.m. The lighting was good and I don't have studio lights, so I figured I'd shoot my shot. Cheers. Cheers and the like. I don't know how to do this. Alright, well, I'll try. Yeah. Uh, Beautimous. It's gorgeous. That pour, though. Okay. Oh, good God. Alrighty. So, right off the bat, you can kind of tell that the white beer has its name for a reason. Um, while it's not totally white, it's a little bit on the cloudy side. It's definitely got a white hue and a very white head. So all of that basically just is what's known as the appearance of a beer, the style appearance, and that is a category that people will judge based off of in competitions, in style comparisons, all that jazz, which is totally a thing, and I'd love to talk about that more too. Just jumping the gun, going right for it just to see what people think. Because why not? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing at all. But I'm trying. A classic characteristic of a lot of Belgian wit beers as well is that you'll notice it's super cloudy. Like, you can't really see me through it. And that's actually a good thing. There's a lot of residual yeast left over in the beer itself from the brewing process. And that is totally a style thing. Some beers will ferment a little bit longer and to try to clear it up, like a lager, for example. But a lot of ales, like this Belgian wit yeast, or Belgian wit beer is an ale. And ales are what's known as a top fermenting, which means that a lot of the yeast will settle to the bottom. And something about Belgian yeast is that it leaves a residual haze of I know it sounds gross, but dead yeast cells. And what's what I like to call a protein beer. Take that as you will. No innuendos on this channel. Cheers. Oh, it's good. This is a really good beer. I don't normally go for Belgian wit beers, I'm not gonna lie. But Cigar City has this really specific style to it. Um, it's not quite as heavy as most Belgian wit beers, but it still has that beautiful Belgian like funk. Like I don't even know. It almost tastes like you're walking into a straw field out in the middle of Belgium, and you just like eat some grass. Like I know that doesn't sound appealing, but it's more of the aesthetic that's like appealing about it, you know? Like it just feels good. You drink it, you're like, my hometown of Belgium, which I've never been, never even been outside the States. Gorgeous. And right off the bat, the mouthfeel is incredibly pillowy. It's so light and fluffy, but it still has that stickiness going on, so it's perfect in my opinion. I love that. I don't like my Belgian wit beers to be overly thick because I feel like it kills a lot of the flavor. Um, so that's kind of what you feel off the bat, off like the beginning sips. As you let it sit on your tongue, it kind of coats it with a little bit of a peppery spice. It's not quite a black pepper, but more of a white pepper, like a really light, spicy spice without it being a hot spice. You dig? And then it comes through with like dried orange peel and a little bit of the coriander will sit there, and that's almost like at the back of the throat. And then as soon as you finish and you let it sit for a little bit longer, you can almost feel it descending through all the flavors again. It's almost like a repeat. Like it goes back to a little bit more spicy, and then it goes back to a little bit more funk, and then it goes back to a little bit of that coriander. Very nice overall, well-rounded beer. And what's nice about it too is, if I'm not mistaken, it's like a 5%er, which is a pretty standard sessionable beer, but it's a little more than like your average Coors or Bud Light, so you can drink a lot and also get a little tipsy, which is nice, and I like it. Oh no, that's fucking good though. I mean, that's freaking good. I don't know if I'm gonna curse on this channel or not, but I have a sailor's mouth out the wazoo. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get some more content involved. Like maybe I'll get some history from each of the breweries, and like maybe I'll do more of like a style thing, or I'll do style comparisons. I don't know. I really haven't put a lot of thought into this. I just know that I really love beer and I love talking about beer, and I don't really want to stop, but I'm pretty sure that all of my immediate friends and family are sick of me talking about beer all the time. So why not expand my horizons to you internet folk? Because I live on the internet as well, like at least 80% of my time. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. If y'all are interested in seeing more, great. If not, I'm still gonna keep going because I need somewhere to talk about my beer obsession that is like a healthier outlet than just bombarding all of my friends all the time. Like, hey, did you hear the newest beer update? And they're like, oh my god, yes! So, cool. I will see if I can edit this. Maybe I'll make a more exciting background. I'm just sitting in bed. Because, I mean, why not? I would rather sit in bed and drink beer and be comfy. But yeah, I don't know. Cheers, and the like. I'm gonna finish this and move on with the rest of my day, probably editing. Cheers.